The evening of August 26th was a grand celebration of blues. Over 30,000 fans gathered at the Alpine Valley Music Theater, drawn to this picturesque venue to hear their favorite artists. Stevie's performance was electrifying, with guitar solos that pierced the hearts of the audience. He played classic songs like Pride and Joy and Couldn't Stand the Weather, proving why he was regarded as one of the greatest guitarists of his generation. The highlight of the night was a 16-minute jam session. Stevie, Eric Clapton, Buddy Guy, Robert Cray, and Vaughan's brother Jimmie performed Sweet Home Chicago together. Years later, Clapton recalled that concert as a moment of absolute triumph for Vaughan, saying, "Everything he sang and played flowed straight from heaven." That night, he had all of us standing there with our jaws dropped, watching in awe. He was at his peak. There was no one better than him on this planet. In the final weeks of his life, Stevie Ray Vaughan was experiencing a true renaissance, both in his career and personal life. After years of battling addiction, he had regained control over himself and his music. His album In Step won a Grammy Award, and his concerts were a testament to his artistic and emotional renewal. Stevie often emphasized how much he appreciated life after his transformation, saying in interviews, "I finally feel like I'm on the right path." However, the day before his final concert, Stevie reportedly shared with his bandmates a troubling dream in which he attended his own funeral, surrounded by thousands of mourners. Additionally, during the performance, some of Vaughan's friends noticed that he appeared to be surrounded by an aura of light. His guitar technician, Renee Martinez, recalled how Stevie hugged everyone especially tightly that night and told them how much he loved them. Backstage at Alpine Valley was filled with urgency, for helicopters were waiting on a nearby golf course to transport the artists and their crews to Chicago. Stevie Ray Vaughan, his older brother Jimmie, and Jimmie's wife, Connie, headed toward the Bell 206B jet Ranger reserved for them. The aircraft was piloted by Jeff Brown, who was employed by Omni Flight Helicopters. However, upon arrival, they discovered that their seats had been taken by members of Eric Clapton's crew, Agent Bobby Brooks, bodyguard Nigel Brown, and assistant tour manager Colin Smythe. Only one seat remained. Determined to return to Chicago as soon as possible to see his beloved Jana, Stevie asked his brother and Connie to give up their seats, explaining, "I really need to get back." Jimmie and Connie agreed, opting to take the next helicopter departing from nearby Lake Geneva. According to Double Trouble drummer Chris Slayton, Stevie's last words to him were brief yet profound. "I love ya." Was this Stevie's way of saying goodbye, sensing that he might never see his friend again? Clapton also felt uneasy. He later recalled, "I didn't want to fly at all. I was wiping condensation off the windows and thinking, we're all gonna die." Then they took off, and above the weather was clear sky and starlight. The helicopter took off at 1 a.m. as dense, low-hanging fog covered Alpine Valley. Pilot Jeff Brown was experienced, with over 1,500 flight hours on this aircraft model. After takeoff, Vaughan's helicopter remained at a lower altitude than the others and made a turn to the southeast. Unfortunately, directly in its path stood a low ski slope, the only high point in the area, just 0.6 miles from the takeoff site. The helicopter missed clearing it by a mere 50 feet. The impact was unforeseen and severe. There was no explosion or fire. Silence fell immediately after the crash, with a thick fog shrouding the wreckage. The alarm was raised only in the morning when the helicopter failed to arrive in Chicago. At 4:30 a.m., the Civil Air Patrol began searching for the missing aircraft. At 7 a.m., rescuers discovered the wreckage and the bodies of the passengers, scattered across a 200-foot area. The coroner's report confirmed that the crew was not under the influence of any substances. Jimmie Vaughan had to call their mother that day, and she assumed he was calling to remember the 4th anniversary of their father's passing. Instead, he was calling to deliver an unimaginably painful message. On that very same day, she had lost Stevie. Jimmie described his feelings at the time in an interview with Guitar Player magazine in 2024. "It's a life-changing experience. I didn't know what to do or say about it when it happened. I almost didn't even want to play anymore. I didn't know what I was supposed to do. There's an expectation as well, when people speak to you about it, that you'll have something profound to say. I sometimes think that maybe God picked that day so that we knew they'd be together. What else can you think?" The final NTSB report cited the probable cause of the accident as improper planning/decision by the pilot and his failure to attain adequate altitude before flying over rising terrain at night. Factors related to the accident were darkness, fog, haze, rising terrain, and the lack of visual cues that were available to the pilot. Omni-Flight, the company that owned and operated the helicopter, was sued for negligence by Martha and Jimmie Vaughan. They claimed that pilot Jeff Brown operated the helicopter recklessly under visual flight rules, VFR, while in instrument meteorological conditions. The lawsuit ended in a settlement. The widows of Vaughan's bodyguard, Nigel Brown, and assistant tour manager, Colin Smythe, received more than $2 million in settlements. Questions arise. Did Jeff Brown's lack of certification for instrument flight rules, IFR, as the only one among the 4 pilots without it, play a key role in this disaster? Was Jeff Brown warned about the nearby ski slope? Even today, when looking at a map from above, this elevation is difficult to distinguish from the surrounding Alpine Valley hills. Only a 3-dimensional model reveals how treacherous this location was. At the time, helicopter pilots did not have access to such navigational tools. Moreover, due to the nature of their work, they often landed in areas without airport infrastructure, let alone approach systems, which are standard for airplane pilots. Did the safety procedures of the company organizing the flight fail that day? Or was the decision to take off in such conditions a mistake made at the organizational level from the very beginning? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. The funeral of Stevie Ray Vaughan took place on August 31st, 1990 at Laurel Land Memorial Park in Dallas, his home state of Texas. Thousands of fans and over 1,500 people from the music industry gathered to bid farewell to the guitarist whose life had ended far too soon. Among those in attendance were Eric Clapton, ZZ Top, Bonnie Raitt, Buddy Guy, Jackson Browne, Stevie Wonder, and Dr. John. Additionally, outside the chapel, approximately 4,000 fans had gathered to pay their respects to Stevie. Jimmie Vaughan, heartbroken, said goodbye to his younger brother, with whom he shared not only music, but also an incredibly deep familial bond. Many mourners could not hold back their tears. Stevie had left just as his life was taking on new meaning. Stevie's headstone bears the inscription, "Thank you for all the love you passed our way." The music world also paid tribute to Stevie. His brother, Jimmie Vaughan, recorded the moving song 6 Strings Down, a tribute to legendary guitarists who passed away too soon.
In the middle of the night, 6 strings down.
Stevie Wonder honored him with the composition Stevie Ray Blues, released on his 1995 live album Natural Wonder. Moreover, his legacy has been preserved by many guitarists who cite him as one of their greatest influences. John Mayer, Robert Randolph, John Petrucci, and others have frequently emphasized how profoundly Stevie shaped their playing styles and musical journeys. In 1995, a special tribute to Stevie Ray Vaughan concert was held, where his music was performed by Eric Clapton, B.B. King, Buddy Guy, Jimmie Vaughan, and others. In an open letter published on srvarchive.com, Martha Vaughan, the mother of Stevie Ray Vaughan, reflected on her son's remarkable life, his brilliant career, but also the struggles he faced. She emphasized that Stevie underwent a profound inner transformation when he turned to God and accepted Jesus Christ as his Savior and healer. In a letter, Martha shared excerpts from Stevie's private journal, in which he expressed his gratitude for the opportunity to play music and for his new life, free from substance dependence. She described how her son and Double Trouble bassist Tommy Shannon were on the verge of exhaustion due to their addictions, but found the strength to recover by turning to God. As a result, the last 4 years of Stevie's life were filled with love, peace, and kindness, values that had previously been overshadowed by his struggles. Martha Vaughan highlighted that her son not only regained his health and control over his life, but also wanted to share his experience with others, inspiring them to make positive changes. In her letter, she encouraged people to seek help and faith during difficult times, believing that just as God helps Stevie, he can help anyone who asks for his guidance. Stevie Ray Vaughan remains an inspiration to musicians and fans around the world. His influence can be seen in the work of artists such as Joe Bonamassa, Mike McReady, Chris Duarte, and Kenny Wayne Shepherd, among others. The statue of Vaughan in Austin, standing by Lady Bird Lake, is one of the city's most frequently visited musical landmarks. Stevie was inducted into the Blues Hall of Fame in 2000, and in 2015, along with Double Trouble, he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame by the aforementioned John Mayer. His music, filled with raw emotion and technical mastery, continues to move hearts, reminding us of the incredible artist we lost. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, leave a comment, hit the like button, and share it with others. Check out more videos on the channel. See you in the next one.